Jesus, Jesus of Nazareth. He died on the cross Friday. Were you there? Were you there?
Where you go?
You weren't there? It is the best news. It's possibly the best news ever. I have been going all over town trying to tell everybody, all of Jesus' disciples and his followers, that he's alive. But I don't want to get ahead of myself. Is there anybody here that doesn't know the story or what happened to Jesus? Raise your hand if you don't know. Okay. Let me tell you what happened. Jesus was my friend. He was such a good friend. He loved everybody. He never did anything wrong. And the Roman government said bad things about him. And they actually had people rely on him. And they arrested him. And when he went before the governor, they actually couldn't convict him for what they arrested him for. But all the people that were standing out there said, "Crucify him." They were mean people. So they did. They took Jesus, and the things that they did to him was just horrible. They beat him. They beat him so badly that you could not see skin on him. They beat him so badly that he was bleeding everywhere. They spit on him. They made fun of him. They did all these horrible things. They made a crown of thorns. And they're not the thorns that you see on the rose bushes that we have. These were big thorns. And they put it on his head. And then they pushed it down where it went into his scalp and into the part of the skull. And it was very painful. Then, after he had all these cuts and things from the beating, they actually made him carry a cross. And this cross was made out of wood. It's not like this wood here. It wasn't smooth. This wood was rough. And he had to carry it on his back. And every step that he took, that rough wood dug into his back. And it hurt. And he would bleed more. And he was so worn out from all the loss of blood and all the pain that part of the way up, somebody else had to help him carry that cross. He ended up going to Golgotha. And I was there. I went there to be with his mother as we watched this happen. They laid the cross down. Jesus laid down on the cross. He laid his arms out, and they nailed him in his hands. They nailed his feet. And they stood that cross up and dropped it in the ground. His back, when they dropped it, once again ripped with that wood that was on his back. And he was there on the cross. They were still making fun of him. They told him, "If you're the Son of God, call the angels down. They'll help you." Jesus wouldn't do that. He was doing this for us. After some time, he called out to God, and he took his last breath. He died. I saw him. He wasn't breathing anymore. He was dead. They took him off the cross, and a man called Joseph actually came and begged them to let them take his body so that he could have a proper burial. We followed Joseph to that tomb. We watched as Joseph carefully wrapped his body in this linen cloth and laid him inside this tomb. I saw it with my own eyes. He was in there. He wasn't breathing. He wasn't moving. He was dead. We were just devastated. This was the friend that we had known for several years. He loved us. We watched as they rolled this huge stone in front of this tomb. The governor at that time was really devious. He was sneaky. He decided he didn't want people to come in there accidentally and slide that stone away and steal that body, because Jesus had said he was going to rise in 3 days. So they didn't want somebody to steal that body. So they posted guards there. guards that had spears, guards that had armor. So 3 days later, I went back, and I had some oil and some spices, and I was going to anoint his body, which is what our custom is, to prepare him for the burial. And I was coming toward the tomb, and this earthquake came, and it was so big and so tremendous that I almost couldn't stand up. And when I looked up, that stone was rolled away. There were 2 angels standing there. Those guards were laying on the ground. They were like they were dead. They may have been dead for all I know. I didn't care about the guards. They were there. They were out of my way. They weren't going to bother me. The angels looked at me and said, "Who you're looking for, he is not here." I looked in that tomb. I walked in. I looked in, and that linen cloth that they had wrapped him in was folded so beautifully right there. And he wasn't anywhere to be found. I walked out, and I thought, what he said was true. He's alive. He's alive. I started running, and as I was running, I come around this curve, and the greatest thing happened. He was right there in front of me. Right in front of me. I couldn't say anything. I just bowed down. He lifted me up, and he looked in my eyes, and he smiled at me. And he said, "Go tell my disciples, go tell my people that I'm alive, and meet me in Galilee." So that's what I'm doing. I need to let y'all know, he's alive. He's alive. Hallelujah.